An important step in a decades-long debate on what to do with a century-old piece of Cleveland's industrial history. The Cleveland Landmarks Commission just approved the design for a future display at North Coast Harbor.
News 5's Jordan Vandenberg tells us it will pay homage to a piece of machinery that turned Cleveland into a steel-making powerhouse.
The Hewitt ore unloaders were a big part of the reason why Cleveland thrived in the early 1900s, turning into the steel city and a very prosperous city at that. But with time, many of them have faded away. Coming into the picture now, however, is a plan 20 years in the making that could turn this spot at North Coast Harbor into a popular destination. They were gargantuan, so big they could only be truly appreciated by those who actually saw them. The Hewlett unloaders could do in just hours what used to take a week.
Cleveland's a steel city, and why it was a successful steel city has a lot to do with the fact that we created these machines.
Developed and patented by a Clevelander, George Hewlett, the multi-ton unloaders emptied freighters of the raw materials used to make steel. And for more than a century, Cleveland had 14 of them. But by the year 2000, only 2 remained, unceremoniously disassembled, laying dormant on port property. But after so much debate, possibly a new mission.
This has been an effort going on for nearly 20 years to try to find a future home of where these Hewletts would be erected. So it was a satisfying day.
As part of its planned mixed-use development at North Coast Harbor, Cumberland Development has proposed using a 60-foot section of the remaining Hewlett and erecting a display that conveys its importance to Cleveland's industrial history. It would be right across from the steamship Mather, a floating museum.
For us to have the Mather there by itself doesn't tell the full story. Having a piece of the Hewletts there starts to make that a much richer and more interesting story.
It's not completely done, it's just a concept, but it's got room to grow into something very special.
The concept was not without disagreement, however.
All I can say is I'm really disappointed.
As an opposing group felt the concept didn't go far enough, instead proposing the entire Hewlett be resurrected. The supporters of the concept say from an engineering and financial standpoint, it is simply not feasible.
And we have a looming deadline. We're a year into a 3-year deadline. And ultimately, if we don't get this done, the port, which has been a phenomenal partner, could scrap them, and then we won't have anything.
The multi-ton engineering marvel ushered in Cleveland's golden age, and perhaps displaying this piece of history will make history repeat itself. In Cleveland, Jordan Vandenberg, News 5.